Hello and welcome to another Tales from a Professional Nerd. This is Bryan Steele and I will be your nerd today and any other day that you watch one of my silly little shows. Happy New Year, folks. It is 2025, just barely. We're recording this just a couple of days into the new year. And yeah, it's been actually 2 weeks since the last episode, so let's do a quick 2 weeks in Bryan, and then we will get into celebrating what is to come in 2025 from yours truly that I can talk about. Okay, so let's see. Since last we met, there was Christmas, which was awesome. I had a great time, got to spend some time with the fam. Went up and drove up to see my mom and stepdad and have a Christmas, an after Christmas with them as well. Had some nice food. Played a game that I had actually never heard of. I know, shock and awe. A table board game, almost like a gambling style game called the horse racing game. I know it seems pretty basic, but apparently this is a thing. They've got copies at Target, and you know, I immediately, the first thing I do, being industry, is when I see a new board game, I immediately look to see, who made it, what company is this from, who, do I know any of the designers, that sort of thing, and none of that was there. It's almost like this game has been around for a really, really long time, and it's not accredited to any particular person. There was no listing in the credits in the extremely thin one-page rules that came in this. The box doesn't have any company representation on it. It was weird and refreshing and very, very traditional in feel. Old-minded, very fun, and we actually had a blast. And in fact, I'm probably going to try and pick up a copy when I get around to it, because I think that it's just a fun game. And if you've got 4 or 5 people that you want to sit around and gamble nickels and dimes against each other, it's a fun way to spend a couple hours. But yes, we did that. We had a good Christmas. Officially, my son has started to put together his first gaming PC with his Christmas presents / money, with a little help from some of my friends that are more technically minded than myself. He's getting it taken care of, and I'm very excited for him. Video games are a very, very big part of his life. And I hope that it means we still get to see him out of his room, but it would be really cool for him to get into that part, kind of graduate into the technical aspect of things. I know that's not what he's looking to get into school for, but I know that that's a really good like just not career necessarily. I mean, it can be, obviously, but just as a good job, if he could get in with a computer tech company or like a local repair shop, or help other people assemble their stuff. It's a skill that I wish that I had, because I know there's been several times where I've had to either beg, borrow, or pay from someone else to assemble my machines. I would love for him to be able to do it himself and take that kind of pride in it. All right, let's see. What else? Yeah, so Christmas was good. Our New Year's Eve was excellent. I guess we're just on the personal week. The tennis elbow is getting better. I actually know that I am healing. I can feel it getting stronger. So here pretty soon I should be able to start going back to the gym multiple times a week and lose some of this holiday weight that I put on. Because I have. Other than that, personal wise, Christmas was good. New Year's, we went to one of my brothers from another mother and his wife's house to do a Lord of the Rings themed New Year's. So I dressed up like a hobbit. I did. Or well, as close as to what my current costuming selection would allow me to. And I made orc bacon, which is like a sweet spiced bacon. I was a little disappointed it did not crisp up as much as it should have. I think I may have gotten too thick of a cut of bacon because it was a little floppy. The taste was good and it was safe, like it was cooked, just not not to what I remember the last time I did orc bacon. And then I cooked a cayenne devil's food cake that we put into a dragon mold. So my wife, who does amazing cake decorations, painted it or iced it, painted it, did icing scales and everything, and we did a smaug cake. Everything turned out great, and the food there was great. The camaraderie was great. It was good to see everybody. It was a great way to officially wish in the new year. And then yeah, we came back home. That's pretty much it. Personal. I mean, yeah. I know that seems kind of boring, but that's sort of how things have been lately. Oh well, you know what? Puppy update. Pup date. Mia's learning how to dog very well. She now officially can. She hasn't had an accident in the house in probably almost a week. She is no longer afraid to go into the mudroom, which is the threshold to the going outside, which is part of the reason why we were having such a hard time doing that. But now she's responding very well. Her big thing right now is she is really wanting to play with the cats, and they really don't want that. We've had to pull a couple of shed cat claws out of her snout. And she's just a lot of energy. You know, she's a 5-month-old puppy, and she has grown quite a bit, but she has not grown so large. We're starting to have a little bit of a concern. Her father was huge. Her mother was average size, but her dad was a huge dog. And we're really hoping that she would follow suit, because she needs to be a stability. Like, the whole point of this dog coming to this house is to be trained to be a stability dog for Natalie. And if she doesn't get strong enough or large enough, that just doesn't work. So we're really hoping that she puts on some pounds as she moves. I mean, again, she's still very young. So she's got a lot of growing left to do. We're just really hoping that she shoots up and gets stronger soon, because we need to be able to start that training so she doesn't like miss that window of getting all of those good habits early on. Yeah, so that everything else has been pretty all right as far as that goes. Hobby-wise, I have done nothing. The holidays have made it very difficult for me to spend any actual time at the hobby desk. Part of it is because there were like presents and boxes and wrapping paper and things kind of tucked into where I normally sit when I do my painting. Now that that's all gone, I need to get back to it. I've got a handful of things that I need to get done before GaryCon. More on that during the new year. And I really still want to. I've got that Tiamat out there, and I want to get her painted, and I want to maybe throw her up for like a charity auction or something like that. Yes, that's pretty much all the hobbying that I've done, apart from assembling Tinker Turf Terrain, because that is a never-ending process before Adepticon. Gaming wise, I've actually done a decent amount of gaming. We played our Rifts game last week, which was awesome. We had a good time. We are now right before I put up the was it Warren G, the regulators, it's an old song. Look it up, YouTube. That's the theme song for our next outing. The adventure we just played, it started out very rough. Basically, the sheriff shot the deputy killed the sheriff. One of them is a traitor. The other one is a gambler. Like there was a lot of whodunits. And at the end of the day, we found out what was going on. But it really kind of led us to needing to go find the bad guy in this campaign that we've been playing, and deal with him, because it's starting to cause super strife within the town that we are in. So yeah, very very cool there. Like I said, I played the horse racing game. I got my Kickstarter in for the deluxe version of Kabuto Sumo. Amazing game, by the way, super fun. About little, like, pushing wooden widgets onto a board where you are wrestling bugs, trying to, whether it's you're playing the sumo style to knock somebody out of the ring, or the squared, the like almost WWE style with the expansion that has chairs and ladders, and it's a very very fun game. You should totally check it out. Yeah, I think played a little bit of video games, but that's I guess I didn't play a lot of games, just some games. Here pretty soon I'm gonna have like almost a weekend full of D&D. The game down in Indy is playing, and then my wife's game is kicking back up. It's just a lot, which is in a good way. I've lost my train of thought. Caffeine is not active yet. Done with that. Oh, so haven't played a lot of stuff on the Xbox. Played a little bit of Diablo, but I will say that I watched my son play 20-25 minutes worth of Marvel Rivals, or not Rivals. Is it Rivals? I don't remember what it's called. The new Marvel versus game. That's basically, it's Overwatch. There's no, like, even down to, like, I could see the character templates on some of these guys. Lazy cash grab, absolutely, except for the fact that it's a free game. I mean, I'm sure that there's got to be like microtransactions and stuff that people that they've got to be making money on it somehow. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made it. But I watched it long enough that I made the decision that I was like, no, I need to leave this room, or I'm going to end up downloading this game, because they've got a couple of characters in there that I'm like, man, that would be really fun. But then there's also a bunch of characters in there that I'm like, they're just there for fan service, and I don't care enough to play Overwatch again, but this time Marvel skinned. Of course, if it was a DC skin, I probably would have jumped on it in a heartbeat, but you know, that's just my preference showing. Speaking of DC, I know this isn't, you know, gaming related, but my man Jason Momoa, there's going to be another picture here soon, in the next couple of years, with him playing Lobo. So Lobo is another one of my favorite comic book characters, and the fact that a badass actor is played my favorite comic book character and is going to play another one of my favorite comic book characters, it just enamors me to him more. And it's perfect casting. I mean, Jason is a massive fan of the character. He's collected the comics since he was little, so he knows what he's doing. And I know he's also the kind of actor that will push back against a director that is doing the wrong, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but doing things that the actor feels might be not great for the character. So yeah, I'm very excited for that. Apparently he's going to be at least not necessarily the main antagonist, but he's definitely going to be an antagonist in the Supergirl movie in 2026. Which it makes sense. You've got to have somebody that Supergirl can fight, that will be able to take the punches, be able to deliver the shots back, basically to have those kind of, Kryptonian level fighting that you do need. Otherwise, you've got you end up with a silly. Well, why didn't Superman, or in this case Supergirl, just beat him? So you've got to put in somebody that can handle it. And Lobo is the kind of character. In fact, one of my favorite cartoon scenes from the Justice League animated series is when Superman comes after Lobo, and is almost, I don't want to say ecstatic, but like he's happy that he's getting to fight Lobo because he knows he can take it. So he can cut loose a little bit and stop pulling punches, because he literally, Lobo is for all intents and purposes immortal. Uh, so it doesn't mean that you can't beat him to a pulp, and that's the kind of thing that, like a Kryptonian living on Earth, where, as I believe Cal had said once before, everything feels like it's made of tissue paper or cardboard. Um, you get to let loose a little bit, and so it'll be nice to see that. There's already talks about them trying to find a way to make a Lobo standalone movie. The director of John Wick wants to do it. So I'm psyched. For obvious reasons, I'm ecstatic on all of those levels. All right, back to the week in Bryan, or weeks in Bryan. Work. So we've been on holiday shutdown at Evil Genius. Basically gives us a couple of weeks to sort of not do a bunch of meetings. We still have to check our email. We still have a couple of tasks here and there. I'm still dealing with artists and stuff from all around the world. So uh, it can't be a complete shutdown for me, but it does definitely back off the stress levels, and lets me get to a couple of weeks to focus on things like the Shadowrun book. I am about a third of the way through with my red lines and corrections on the last book. I need to get those done soon to be able to get that into production, because that book's going to come later out in the summer. Sometime midsummer. I know that John over at Catalyst, we want to do a little bit more about marketing some of these books, and Night Court is going to be a particularly, I think, knock on wood, I think Night Court's going to be a particularly poignant book, because it deals with some things in Shadowrun that people haven't seen in a while, and it is tied directly to the meta that is like the meta plot that's happening in the Sixth World. So I'm very excited for that. I'm excited for that to come out and get a little bit of traction. So the idea that John wants to do some more marketing, maybe some streams and things like that to kind of help prop it up is awesome. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, but before any of that can happen, I gotta get those corrections finished. So that is kind of my prime directive right now. Is during the holiday break, I'm really kind of focused on getting that fiction out. Still working on the new one, but obviously it has to take a back seat to the last one until I get that done. More, I know here pretty soon there's going to be some talk more about the Anarchy 2.0 rule set. Very excited about that. Let's see what else. Finished up a big chunk of Wildkin for the Monster Trainer's Handbook from Dungeon in a Box. Very fun over there. Just turned in a bunch of cool alternate improvised weapons with their own rules and stats for Evil Dead 2. One of the things that I wanted to, when I signed on to the Evil Dead project, I wanted to bring some rules design, but not just here's some more classes. Everybody likes those, and those are going to be available in spades. There's a bunch of really capable writers and designers on this team, so I knew that wasn't going to be that we weren't going to be hurting for any of that. But one of the things that I really wanted to do is I love the idea of a household item figuring out how to use something that's at arm's length to fight off a bad guy. And in the Evil Dead movies, it's not, with few exceptions, there's not a lot in the way of like weaponry. It's I grabbed this. I hit him with this chair. I threw a lamp at him. I grabbed the electric carving knife from the kitchen. Like you part of the tension and the kind of setting of Evil Dead is you are thrown into a situation that you weren't expecting and you weren't ready for. Now you have to survive, and the whole point of the first two Evil Dead movies is you're trapped in a cabin with these deadites, with these possessing these spirits that can possess your friends and turn them into monsters, and it is very much a survival horror aspect of things, is to try and figure out how to use your surroundings to fight off the baddies. And I wanted to make sure that happened, and I put it forward to the team, and I was like, I want to do this. Everybody they were like, sounds great, let's do it. And so I put together, I think at this point there's like 30 alternate improvised weapons. Some of them are categories of weapons, but they're pretty, the difference between a TV set and a computer monitor. Yeah, someone could say, well, it's a flat screen, or yeah, sure, your table, your rules, but that category now has, here's its special stuff if you happen to use it as an improvised weapon. I'm excited to see what some people's thoughts about it. The team have started looking at it. There's already been a couple of adjustments, one removal, but a couple of additions. So I'm excited to see how that all comes together. And then I think my next thing I'm working on with Evil Dead, I think I might be doing one of the adventures in the book. I don't know. I got to talk to Devin and figure out the specifics. But either way, that project is ongoing and having a lot of fun with that. Especially, so one of the things that Devin really wanted is that kind of attitude, tongue-in-cheek, right with a little bit of humor, but don't make it like overly goofy or too hammy. So just very cool. I mean, I'm very happy with how that's turning out, because you can throw in like kind of wise ass remarks here and there, and it feels in character in a book about Evil Dead 2. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all the side stuff. Warzone, Jesus, not Warzone's not really a side gig for me, but it's definitely a big part of what's going on. We are at this point almost we're so ready to start packing boxes. I believe by the time this comes out, all of the miniatures should have been cast and at Alex's facility. Unless something weird happens, we are just waiting on the rule book, to the final version of the rule book that we had to send back to the printer. Basically, we looked through the print proof and we were like, hey, cool, make these changes. They said they were going to, and then now the copies of the book. As soon as the book arrives, we should be able to start packing up and start sending things out, which is so cool. Me personally, I'm also waiting on the Graviton protocol and the tournament kit to get finalized as far as the layout assets, because we got to make sure that everything is good with the licensor. But then as soon as that gets done, I get to send that stuff out too. So like, we are so close to actual fulfillment and getting this thing up and running. It's more on that when I start talking about 2025. Xeogenesis doing well. Did a nice fine tooth comb, test a couple of things in the two starter army lists, the Pact and the Guard Corps. They not I'm not like really let the cat out of the bag or anything, but they are definitely of the forces. They seem to be the most diametrically opposed as far as how their armies work. They are excellent enemies for each other, so there's a great reason why the guys over at Best Hobby, why they chose those two to be like the starter box factions, because they fight well against each other, if that makes any sense. I'm sure it does for some of you. Everything Evil Genius. I will have some pretty cool news soon. Looking at my calendar, probably in a week, maybe 2 weeks. I'll have some really cool news about our digital access stuff. We've got a very, very cool program starting up, and I will likely give an episode to it to let people know what is up with such an awesome resource. Still working on Intergalactic Heroes, working on an adventure that is got a sprinkling of Intergalactic Heroes stuff in it, but it is technically an Everyday Heroes adventure. And still getting some good responses from Lumps of Coal, our holiday adventure. So yeah, no, I think everything's doing really well. Work is ongoing and never ceases, but it feels good to be making forward progress on things. It feels fantastic to turn things in and get the responses from the clients. Just all around good stuff. I cannot wait for the months to follow. Speaking of months, so the December comment raffle winner. So the last comment raffle winner of 2024 comes from at MadDropBear6632. From episode 260. Congratulations, MadDropBear6632. I will be putting information in. I will reply to that comment for you to be able to reach out to me, and we'll get you sorted out for a prize pack because you commented and are part of the Tales from a Professional Nerd family. Without further ado, let's get in the action. I know it's been a long weeks in Bryan because it was 2 weeks, but let's take a look. Let's talk about 2025. It's a year that will live in infamy. No. I'm very hopeful for 2025. I have been doing my best to focus on positive things, rather than trying to drag up from a negative place. I've been trying to just sort of have every single one of my days have a little bit of positive thinking to try and spread out for the world. I know that sounds a little hippy dippy, but I am in a place mentally and emotionally that there is so much going on in the world that is easily, it's a click of a button away for you to get depressed, for you to find something sad or infuriating or that brings on that defeated feeling. And I'm trying to fight that by putting out something that is a positive every day. I have chosen my career as a way to try and make people happy, to try and bring joy to other people's lives, to just try and uplift, uplift my fellow gamers, or fiction readers in some cases. And I want to think that 2025 is going to be, I'm going to definitely put a lot of focus on that. So you're probably going to hear a lot more of stuff out of me on how to shoo those demons away and do things that are do and think and feel and say things that don't add to that, but instead help others step away from it. That's really, I don't really do New Year's resolutions, but the closest thing I have to one is to try and just collectively fight the negativity that's out there. Um, I personally, I am not a fan of being happy when someone dies, whether they're a horrible person or not. Um, I don't want to tell someone that that we should be supporting people who are hurting others for any reason. I don't, I can't get my brain around it. I wasn't brought up that way. Um, and I can, I can absolutely understand that there are people out there that are awful, and that the world can be a better place with some people not in it. I do understand that. But I think that there's a completely different mindset of understanding that an evil is removed, or an evil has been uh, altered, changed, no longer a problem for society, and flag waving and cheering for it to happen. Because again, remember, everybody out there has someone who cares for them and who will miss them. And when you cheer on the death or something along those lines of someone else, no matter how vile they are, you're also cheering on those people to hurt. Those people who might not be in and of themselves bad people. I don't know. I did not mean to philosophize. That's not what this is about. But I think if I have a resolution, the closest thing to it is I want to try and fight negativity with positivity in 2025. It is. I think that it is just a road to a better me and a better world around me. All right. Let's take a look at 2025. Things that I am excited about. Obviously, I'm excited about the release of Warzone. The fulfillment of, the playtesters and some of the fans have been playing with proxies and playing on the virtual tabletop system. People are enjoying it already. They're already loving the game. There's been 2 tournaments run in Czechoslovakia, or the Czech Republic, I believe is what it's called. But either way, they've already had tournaments using proxies and using the beta rules and have enjoyed it. There's always situations where players will be like, I think I would like it better this way. It is what it is. Armchair design happens. But the collective, people are really liking the game. The thing that Alex and I have made is being well received, and that's always a good feeling. So now that we are on the precipice of being able to have this to new players, there are people now that are contacting us saying, how do we get this game? And it's like, it's not out yet. We're soon. I cannot wait for our web store to open and start making sales. I know Alex is going to be a little overwhelmed when things start coming in, but he's managed a very successful Kickstarter all the way through till this fulfillment, and I think it's going to be a huge weight off his shoulders to get the fulfillment done, and then start dealing with just basically individual orders and us putting out just a couple of units at a time rather than this giant wave. But it's gonna be cool. I'm very excited. 2025 is gonna be definitely a good year for Warzone and for Warzone players. Super excited for Intergalactic Heroes to come out. It has been my labor of love and my baby at Evil Genius for almost 2 years now at this point, in some form or another. So I'm very excited for that to come. The open beta document has done wonders for us, but there's nothing quite like getting the art done. I can't wait to start seeing the concept art for some of the alien species that I've created. Some of the ideas, like the heraldry badges and stuff like that. Stuff that has just been, kind of words and sketches and stuff. I can't wait to see how those come together. Very excited on that front. I think it's going to do very well. Call me biased, but I don't believe that there is a sci-fi contender out there that will have as much stuff packed in those covers as we did. Starfinder is great, but it is very space fantasy, like almost like just D&D in space, very Spelljammer-ish. Eclipse Phase is fantastic. Esper Genesis is great. These are all really good, super solid systems, but they do tend to be, Traveler tends to be very crunchy. Esper Genesis is very, it is very space, like very sci-fi feel, and they've got an amazing license coming out next year, I believe. Phantasy Star from the old Sega video games. So everyone's got kind of their own niche, and I do think that again, I'm biased, but I do think that Intergalactic Heroes allows you to cover several bases. And once we get the Player's Guide and the Game Master's Guide out, I think that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be able to run and create their own homebrew style things. Obviously, I would love for them to focus on the Throne World Saga. That's my story. But I think that people are going to be able to use it for a lot of different things and a lot of different reasons. So very, very happy for that to be released. The two new Pac Rim books and the two new Kong Skull Island books, they are, I think, actually, if I'm right, I think we sent them to the printer. Like, I'm looking at my calendar. I believe if they haven't been sent, they're going to be sent like post haste, which means that we're that much closer to be able to send that stuff out to the backers and get those in stores. Which it's weird because I've been at Evil Genius now for 2 years, or for almost 2 years, and or over 2 years. Right at 2 years? I think I'm about ready to hit my 2-year mark. But I've been here for this whole time, and I actually don't have any physical publications with the company yet. Everything that I've done has been digital access or convention stuff. Everything is because we spent so much time on Rebel Moon, and then turning Rebel Moon into Intergalactic Heroes. And then I got put in on the Legendary projects. Nothing is published yet because there's all these long-standing, ongoing things. So 2025, as far as Evil Genius is concerned, I'm going to have a ton of stuff come out, which awesome. It is about damn time for me to have some Evil Genius books pop out. I've only been here doing the producer, developer thing for almost 2 years. So I'm super excited to see all that stuff. The Shadowrun 2025 will see the release of Night Court. It will likely not see the release of Bragging Rights, my current book I'm working on now. I don't know if it will. partially because of timing, but also because there's also, you know, the edit stretch and all that. So depends on how fast I can get it done. But I doubt it. I know that Night Court's going to be out. Magic Machines and Mayhem just came out, and I think John said there might be another compilation that has a short from me in it, but I don't know. I can't say that for sure. I don't know that. I don't know that for positive. But yeah, so 2025 is going to be good for that. Here very soon, probably in the next couple weeks, the World of Shadows Season 2, the Shadowrun live action, the Shadowrun actual play through Six Sides of Gaming and Catalyst will be out. We'll do one episode a week. In fact, I will put the link to the first episode of Season 1 in the description of this video. So if you wanted to binge Season 1, so you can get kind of caught up on all the story and everything before Season 2 starts, that will be, I'll put it in the description of the video, because by the time you get done watching all of Season 1 World of Shadows, you ought to be able to just jump right in on Season 2, potentially catch a few of the convention games. I think some of them have been recorded. That is where we started to mesh our characters together, introducing my character. And if you want a little more information on my character, he plays a very large part in the book Control Issues. That is CTRL, as in Control Delete Issues. A Shadowrun novel that you can find at Catalyst Game Labs or on Amazon. Hollywood is the character that I play in World of Shadows. But it's also, he is one of the main characters in Control Issues. So if you want to kind of get a nice feel for the guy, go ahead and pick that up, give it a read. I actually think it's one of the best things that I have written, in my personal opinion. Yeah, all right. So I think that's pretty much all of the Shadowrun stuff. I'm assuming, I can't speak to the schedule for Best Hobby, but I do know that Xeogenesis is almost ready to start releasing stuff as far as minis and things. So I'm sure those cats will get everything squared away, and maybe I'll be able to start showing off some of the models that I helped do some of the development for. So that would be fun too. And then the Monster Trainers book will be out sometime this year. Those are, you want to play not Pokemon, but in a D&D setting, that's the book to do it. Yeah, so I have a lot of stuff coming out in 2025. I have a lot of books. I did a chapter in a novel, or not a chapter in a novel, a chapter in a resource book for Dungeon Masters and Game Masters with Goodman Games. And I believe that's supposed to come out this summer too. So yeah, no, there's just I've got a lot of stuff that's going to be hitting stands, hitting the Wrath of the Sea Lich I did with Lou Gygax over at Gaxworks. So I helped with that and did some design work over there. That's going to be coming out this year. The Imarian Knights through Lindvander Studios, that should be out. Evil Dead 2 should be out probably by I would assume by the end of the year. Yeah, just Strange Hollow will be shipping sometime this year. Yeah, I've just got a lot of titles that are going to be coming out in 2025, and then I'm super happy nerd year to Bryan. My CV will expand dramatically this year, and that is a good feeling. I like going into again trying to throw in with positivity. And then one of the other big things that I've got going on this year is my convention circuit. So my convention circuit is changing just because of the various people that I'm going to shows with, and some of the focus that is happening at these shows. So my my calendar begins technically in February with the Gamma Trade Show down in Louisville. Now that's a industry show. It's not a public show, but it is a great way for me to sort of get people ready for the things that we've got coming out. I'll be going to that show with Evil Genius, so it will be probably a lot of focus on Intergalactic Heroes, talking about season 2 of the Evil Genius Organized Play System, the Ego program, talking about our app. So there's going to be a lot of Press the Flesh there. I also know that my a couple of my other companies that I freelance for will be there, so I'll get to see them. So that's a fun show, but that's not the kind of show that you get to go and do stuff at so much as go and just try and remind retailers how cool your stuff is, and maybe talk to some distributors and things. After that, my March is insane. My March, the beginning of the March is going to be a lot of get as much work done as possible, because then immediately I get the latter half of March goes GaryCon, which I am going with my wife just as gamers, but I do think Luke is going to have me run a few things, probably some Shadow Dark stuff for Wrath of the Sea Lich, or just general Okarim type stuff for Gaxworks. But I'll probably run, I know that I'm running at least 2, maybe 3 sessions for Evil Genius while I'm there, for Evil Genius products, 2 of which are Intergalactic Heroes games. Actually, I think all 3 might be Intergalactic Heroes games, now that I'm thinking about it. I think I might just be pressing a lot of Intergalactic Heroes while I'm there. But I mentioned during the hobby section of this episode that I've got some stuff I need to paint. It's because anybody who plays in my super deadly Heck Divers 2 scenario, I always give them a takeaway figure. They get to take their character figure with them when they leave. And so I know I'm running that twice, so I've got to paint 2 versions of that team. Just in case. Hopefully, I would love personally if somebody played it multiple times, but specifically played different characters because they're trying to get all the team or whatnot. That'd be fun. But yeah, and then immediately after GaryCon, I drive home. I turn around, I do my laundry, I repack, and then I go to Adepticon, which is, I'm going with Resnova, because it's our first big Warzone Eternal post-fulfillment show. It is going to be awesome. It is where we are going to host the first annual Warzone Eternal Champion Tournament, where if you are the runner-up or winner, you get your name on the Eternal Champions trophy for posterity with your faction and the year that you played. And if you are the actual winner, you get to help us decide one of the units to become to get pushed up into the queue, to be made a priority to get out into gameplay. So you get to kind of be part of that process of getting a unit. Maybe it's a unit that that's never been realized in miniature form, or maybe it's a unit that has been realized but you hate the miniature, or maybe it's just one that you really like and you want to see in Warzone Eternal sooner rather than later. Winning that tournament gives you the ability to do that. So super excited about Adepticon. Not to mention, it's just a fun show. I get to see a lot of my minis game, fans and community and friends. We get to play games, enjoy ourselves, and this will be similar to what happened back at in Dark Age, back in the late 20 teens. Um, Adepticon was one of those shows that we like so many people came and bought Dark Age from us that we were like, whoa, okay, this game's taken back off. I think when we have stuff to sell for Warzone Eternal and people get to see the models up close and start playing games again and seeing people play in the free play area upstairs, I think that we're gonna do really well. It's gonna be a great show. Busy, but it's gonna be great. I I have every confidence that it's going to be an awesome show, and Warzone is going to really leave a footprint. You heard it here first. After March, I believe my next show. You know what? I'm just going to pull up my show calendar, and we will just go through real quick. April, I am planning to go up to Chaosium Con in Michigan. The guys at Chaosium are friends of mine, and one of my friends and coworkers really wants to start doing writing in adventures. He wants to start writing adventures for specifically for Call of Cthulhu, and so I told him that if he comes with me to Chaosium Con, I would introduce him to the guys, and maybe we can get things moving forward on that. It'd be great. So yeah, April's got one. May is actually convention free, which is good because it will give me an opportunity to get caught up on a bunch of stuff. June, of course, has Origins in Columbus. For Origins, I am going with Res Nova. It will be Warzone. Always had deep roots at Origins as a convention, like it always did back when in the Target Games days. So we've had a lot of people come up to our booth at Origins and start asking us, hey, you guys have brought it back. I haven't seen it here since blah blah blah, and I know that it's gonna do really well there. So I'm excited about Origins. I will probably try and run at least one Evil Genius, maybe an Intergalactic Heroes or something like that. But I don't know for sure because it just depends on how busy I'm going to be with Warzone. The Adepticon tournament and sales and things are really going to kind of set the stage and set the tone for how busy we think we're going to be at Origins. Because if I'm swamped at Origins with sales and new stuff, and maybe I'll run a small just for fun tournament, if that's the case, it's probably I'm probably going to be pretty packed up and busy. July is nice and free. August, of course, has Gen Con, which will be. I'm actually, so Gen Con is going to be a super cool show, obviously, but I'm actually going to go with Linvander Studios this year because of some of the things that we've got releasing around that time and some of the stage plays and things that I need to be part of at Gen Con. It is going to be far easier for me to be on their schedule and their kind of between the stuff I've got coming out at Catalyst and the stuff that we'll be doing with Linvander and Six Sides of Gaming. I really will be pulled in a couple of different directions, so I needed to kind of home base it. Combine that with we're going to have our game masters and stuff for Evil Genius take care of trying to run events and things. It's definitely going to be a different type of show for me than I'm used to. More on that in the future. Still very far ahead, but I do know that I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff with Shadowrun and Evil Dead and probably some Maria while I'm there. Nothing in September. October comes around to Gamehole Con, baby. Gamehole Con is definitely, I think it really has become my favorite show. So it is already on the schedule, is already booked on the schedule. Combine the fact that Alex takes such a great job, a great care of all of us guests. I'm also writing and I'll probably GM it if I can. One of the Gamehole organized play, the Wardens of the East Marches organized play system through Gamehole Publishing. I'm penning one of those adventures, so I'm definitely going to be there, and I'm definitely going to try and run one of those. That will be super fun. Nothing in November, potentially nothing in November. So PAX Unplugged got moved to November, and I don't know if I'm going. We're trying to work out some of the details, but I do know that PAX Unplugged this year got moved to the same weekend as Board Game Geek Con down in Texas, and the Boston Marathon. So, or not the Boston Marathon, that wouldn't matter. The Philadelphia Marathon. So there's a lot going on that weekend, and it's going to make hotels really expensive and very busy and probably hard to book. So I don't know for sure if PAX Unplugged is on my 2025 docket. If it is, I'll let you know. Again, it's literally almost a year away. A lot can change. A lot can happen in that time. But at this time, it is a tentative slot on my schedule, just because I don't know who I'd go with. I don't know what I would be doing while I'm there, and I don't know whether or not I could even afford it / make that sort of schedule. So we'll see. It's a lot of time between now and then. And as with everything, this whole schedule could change tomorrow. Who knows? The industry is what it is. Things are strange. Stuff happens. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to 2025, both as a gamer and an industry and a writer. And I'm really excited. I'm very positive for how it's going to be. And I want to really focus on putting out good, cool, fun games, and make as many people happy as I can doing so, while keeping a roof over my head. You know, I do have to be realistic in the fact that some of the jobs that I take and some of the things that I have to do are, paycheck related, but I am in a situation, I'm in a place in my career that I don't have to take every job unless I really do feel like it's something that I can do a good job at. I've had to pass on things if it's something that I don't think that I can do. I'm hoping to do at least one more Essence 20 project this upcoming year with Renegade. If I have the spare time and the bandwidth, and I can get permission, I know that there's a particular book that I've really wanted to do for pretty much ever since I, helped create Essence 20. But that's, again, it's a matter of, do you have the bandwidth? Do you have the permission? Is Renegade willing to do that with me? So we'll see. Knock on wood, and we'll see what the future holds. But I'm very happy about 2025. I feel confident that it's going to be an excellent year for me, and I hope that helps make an excellent year for you guys, one facet or another. So without further ado, congratulations again to Mad Drop Bear 6632. This year, let's play it safe. Wear your masks, get your shots, wash your hands, don't lick doorknobs. Just, in generally, try and play it safe, but, definitely still play. Enjoy yourselves. Don't focus on the awful stuff all the time. You can give it enough pay attention. You don't want to just to put your head in the sand, but it doesn't mean that you gotta, make it the first thing that you think about every day either. Let's try and be positive. Let's try and make good out of things that we can. That's really all I can ask for. And, just try and leave every room a little happier than when you got there. And if everybody does that, I think that we'll be in a pretty good place. So until next week, please be safe, have fun, and play some games. Happy New Year.